we're now going to, in the final few moments that we have, close what has been an incredible couple of hours, a couple of days of information, of education, and we hope and inspiration for those of you who are going through your cancer journey. I'm going to leave it to Barry to present some closing comments. But before I do, a reminder, please, that the amount of resource and support that is available to this community through colorectal cancer is fantastic. Colorectalcancercanada.ca. A world of resources are available there. This conference in and of itself, the beauty of doing things virtually is that this content, this education lives on, and all of these sessions will be reposted on their website within the next couple of weeks. So please check back and please reach out on their info line at any time through the website if you have a need or a desire to connect in any way. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for the wonderful questions that have come through over the past couple of days. And Barry, I'm going to leave it with you now to close the conference.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, and thank you everyone for attending our Colorectal Cancer Community Conference. I hope that you all gathered as much information as I did from the discussions over the course of the past 2 days. But as much as we shared information today, I hope that after having seen so many patients and heard their heartfelt stories, that you realize that you're not alone and that you are part of a larger community. No matter what you've gone through, we are here to support you, whatever stage you're at. And as information is empowerment, knowing that you have a community behind you, that can help you through these challenging times. Today we heard a lot about self-advocacy, advocacy in general, and how it can make a difference in your treatment paradigm. Amanda, Pierre, Robin, and myself demonstrated how you can make a difference in your own treatment, and how your family can in fact benefit from that advocacy, and in fact so many other patients can benefit from it as well. But not everybody can do that. We know that, and that's why we at Colorectal Cancer Canada are here to support you and your family through these tough times. We also moved on to an amazing session dealing with side effects. I really wish that I had some of that information when I was going through treatment myself. We talked about everything from fatigue, nausea, diarrhea, skin rash, all sorts of potential side effects that you could have. But most importantly, we heard from an amazing pharmacist who gave us lots of things that we can do about those side effects and how our patients were dealing with it, really understanding that when we have these side effects, sometimes you feel isolated and that you're alone. But our patients came out and they told us what they did, whether it was journaling or speaking to their care team or the use of exercise, getting out there and doing something. In my case, I continued to work as well. All things that you could do to sort of get over both the mental and the physical side effects from treatment. And what a session with Dr. Katz, really dealing with a subject matter that's so hard to communicate, so hard to talk about very often in today's society, and especially when you're undergoing the stress of a cancer diagnosis and treatment. And one thing that she really said that struck me was the power of communication and touch. Really a wonderful opportunity to speak openly about a subject matter that we don't often want to or feel that we have the ability to talk about with others. And I think that, seeing the information that Dr. Katz presented today was really enlightening. And as she mentioned, she's written a couple of books in this area, and we've actually developed a sexuality toolkit as part of our survivorship program and our return to work program that our cancer care team spoke to you about today. Hannah and Ira spoke to you about that a little bit earlier and told you about the many programs that we have, the information aids, and all the resources that can be found. But without going through all those today, again, I think you can go to colorectalcancercanada.com. By the way, not .ca, colorectalcancercanada.com, and you'll have access to all of those resources, as well as on our social media at Colon Canada, or just simply call us at 1-800-50-COLON, and that's 1-800-50-26566, or write us at support@colorectalcancercanada.com again. And then there was another resource that Hannah and Iris mentioned, and that's our sister site called foodsthatfightcancer.ca. And we offer a lot of really fun recipes, and on Instagram it can be found as well. And all the resources that we deal with, and working in partnership with Elixir in Toronto at Princess Margaret, and giving you fantastic recipes that you can really enjoy. And that's at Foods That Fight Cancer, and this time it's .ca. So foodsthatfightcancer.ca, and Colorectal Cancer Canada is .com. We closed on some, maybe the most impactful story of all that we've heard over the course of the 2 days, that open and emotional story of Cheryl Labrador and her family, and whatever your situation is, we can all relate to that circumstance, whether it's being alone or being with a partner, your family, or a friend. We understand the emotional impact of a sudden diagnosis. After all, diagnosed suddenly during the middle of COVID with colon cancer, and having to deal with those concerns alone. This is something that really is unacceptable in the future, and something that we are advocating should not happen again. The necessity to be isolated in those type of dire circumstances. But we heard about coping with the stress and the anxiety and the fear of recurrence and the fatigue, all these types of things, and how, even journaling was one way of a family member dealing with it during times of high anxiety. And as Dr. Esplin explained, those transitional times where you don't know what's happening, or waiting for the return of a scan, or waiting to hear results, or those are the times when you don't have a plan, that are always the very high anxiety at times, and when we really need to stick together, to support each other. But as Cheryl pointed out, there's different things you can do: mindfulness, meditation, support groups, and therapy sessions. And look what Cheryl was coming from, a situation of a lifetime of dealing with stressful issues and mental health issues to some degree, and overcoming them in the most challenging of times. But it showed how a family stuck together and remained positive to get through it together. So in closing, we want to hear from you. If you enjoyed this conference, please let us know what you found important. And if we missed something, tell us what you think we should cover, either in another session or in next year's conference. Or if you want to become engaged with us and work together as a volunteer with us, or support, or just even participate in some of the support groups, please let us know. Everything that we do is free of charge, and we'd love to have your input and you to join in with us. So once again, thank you all for attending and for being part of our colorectal cancer community.